Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you may know, Baka Gaijin and Friends just had the recent show with Volume 15, featuring some of the regulars, but however, this also features the debut of everybody's favorite eel, Unagi Sayaka. That's right, Unagi Sayaka makes her debut in Baka Gaijin and Friends. I'm kind of curious how things will go for her because this is completely different from what she's been known for, but we will find out soon enough. Then we have, of course, NXT. As you all know, this is their go home show before they make their way to Toronto for Heatwave. Now, we do have the NXT Championship contract between fourth competitors the champion Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Sean Spears, and Ethan Page. So we're going to see what's going to happen, and anything could happen before we get to Heatwave. And then we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Leader Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Lead It Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling news from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, promotions, factions, storylines, anything we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If certain information I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can either put it on the next episode or, of course, by itself. We also do real timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions to the set. So, beam me up, Scotty. So let's begin with our very first review, and I believe that is Baka Gaijin and Friends. Okay, Baka Gaijin and Friends. Now, for those who are new to the channel, if you guys never heard of this, this is something similar to Choco Pro, but instead of a building where there's a much spacious room, they're inside of a bar inside of a building. Like, it's not that much of a spacious, but it's really fun. Now, these shows are normally produced by none other than a British wrestler who's been living in Japan named Chris Brooks. Many of you may have seen him in DDT Pro Wrestling. He even showed up in Choco Pro on various occasions. So yeah, so he's involved in that particular event. So he produced these shows, and he has many wrestlers that make their appearances from other promotions and all this and that. But let's begin with our very first match, and this one is called a Wasabi uh, Cream Puff Death Match. Now, those who don't know, you know wasabi is very spicy. So basically, um, the idea is this: if you make a pinfall, you have to eat this cream puff. But inside a cream puff, there's like many. Let's say there's 10 cream puffs, but only one of them or two carries the wasabi. So if you have that look in your face that you had wasabi, then that means you're done. It's over. The match goes over. Now, some people would say, why is it called a wasabi cream puff death match? Well, that's how they call it. Don't ask me that. I don't even know. But the competitors involved in this match, we have Antonio Honda and, of course, Mad Doctor Yuiki. So basically, of course, when it comes to Honda, we know that he is a very funny wrestler. He likes to give his stories, plays guitar. But, however, unfortunately, this match ended with a double KO. Basically, they both had the wasabi and they were limited. So you can say it is a time limit draw or some sort, but that's how it ends. So, yeah. Next match, we have Mecha Mummy making his way, taking on Mr. Bueno. Now, this is a very interesting matchup. If those who never seen Mr. Bueno, he looks like a guy playing mariachi, that sort of thing. I thought it was real fun. However, Mecha Mummy, you know he's going to use his the rocket punch, the drill, all of that. That may have worked, but however, it was of course Mr. Bueno that applied the cold spray. You know that spray that you see with Brandon Cutler using all the time. Well, he did that on Mecha Mummy, and apparently Mecha Mummy malfunction and just like that, it was over. So basically, Mr. Bueno won the match. Now, our next match, we have the debut of Unagi Sayaka. This is her first time being there. I don't know how she felt about this type of environment. Now, remember, they don't have a ring. It's just a mat in the ground. That's the thing. However, she thought for a minute because she thought her opponent is none other than Tam Nakano, because many of you know Tam Nakano's theme song, Twilight Dream. It was being played. Now, Mr. Haku had to mute the entire the entry because of copyright. So he's a very smart guy not to do that. However, it wasn't actually Tam. It was actually Mao from DDT dressed up as Tam, calling himself Tam Hagashinako. Yeah, so basically he's trying to pretend that he's Tam. You know, Unagi at first was like, she thought, is it really Tam? And then, nope. She was like, truly disappointed to find out that it's not Tam. It was Mao. You know, he kind of really screwed things up for her. I mean, she really wanted to have that one-on-one match with Tam, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know when. Hopefully soon. But anyway, it was a pretty good match. We did see that little slingshot thing that happened. But unfortunately, this match ended because, as I said, Mao dressed up like Tam Nakano, cosplaying her. She applied her finisher move. One of them you may know. The violet screwdriver. Yes, guys, Mao used the violet screwdriver, and just like that, it was over. But Unagi was not happy the fact that Mao dressed up like Tam. So, that's how it ended. Now, our main event, we have CDK, Masahiro Takanashi, and the boss himself, Chris Brooks, taking on the astronauts, Fuminori Abe, and of course, what's his name? Nomura. I forgot his first name. So basically, as you know, they are one of the best tag teams that we have seen, either in major promotions or independent. However, these guys went ball to the walls, no holdbacks. It was insane. But however, unfortunately, this match ended in a time limit draw. So yes, of course, time limit draw sucks, but that's how it ends. But I would love to see another match between these two. Don't know when will that happen, but hopefully it can happen. So we'll see. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for Baka Gaijin and Friends. So let's just find out what happened. We'll find out later on. But right now, let's move on with our last and final review, NXT. Okay, NXT. This is their go home show before we head to Toronto for, of course, NXT Heatwave. Now, anything could happen before then. But right now, let's begin with our first match, and it's a street fight between Jada Parker and Michi. Now, this rivalry began right at, of course, the announcement of the NXT Women's North American title. So Minchin came back, as you know, wanted to compete, but Jada Parker is trying to tell her this is not your time. So they've been beefing around for a long time. But however, this is one of those matches where, of course, Jada Parker feels like this is her element. Now, Michin is no stranger to these types of matches. We've seen her before. If you guys remember that match she had with Dakota Kai, that changed it. But um, however, that match, of course, that became insane. To all type of tools and all that. But the factor was, of course, Jada Parker used the fire extinguisher in her advantage, and then she applied a hip attack, and just like that, it was over. So she's trying to make a statement saying that Michi's time is done. But however, the war between both OTM and the OCs is far, far from over. So Jada Parker may have won this battle, but the war between both factions is not done. We did see, of course, the OCs making their way, calling the OTM out. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Now, in the back, we did see Carmen Petrovic, but for some odd reason, Ariana Grace was trying to suck her up to her. Like, as you know, both of these ladies are Canadian. There's no secret about that. Now, those who don't know, Ariana Grace is Canadian. She's from there. So she's acting like, you know, what Carmen Petrovic has with Natalia, two fellow Canadians, that they need to stick together. But Petrovic doesn't see it that way. But however, she got in the face. But Jay-Z Jane and Jasmine Nix got in her face in that sort of way, and then we did see them in the match. Now, our next match, this one's a very impressive one. I have to say, one of my favorite matches to watch. New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus Hank and Tank. I have to say, what a match. I mean, I have to say, where the hell was Hank and Tank all this time? I feel like they finally woken up, to be honest with you. I never expected them, but it was an amazing match. I'm not going to lie. But unfortunately, Tyler Bate was the one who picked up the win onto Tank when he applied that spiral roll, and just like that, it was over. But what's best is, of course, New Catch Republic showed respect to Hank and Tank, realizing they were impressive. I'm sure they would say that they are the future tag team champions in NXT. I'm sure they would say that. So we'll see what happens down the road. I mean, this is the Hank and Tank we definitely need to see more often. Now, we do see another match. We have Brinley Reese taking on Izzy Dame. Now, of course, as you know, Izzy Dame thinks that Enofe and Blade are dumb being around Reese. But unfortunately, out of nowhere, Cuckoo come out of nowhere, which is, of course, Tatum Paxley shows up and ringside. But unfortunately, Brinley Reese lost the match when, of course, Izzy Dame applied the Falcon Arrow. I'm not sure if that's the Falcon Arrow, but yes, allowing her to pick up the win. And then once again, Tatum Paxley trying to get closer, and Izzy Dame is keeping her distance, like she knows that she's cuckoo. But later on, we did see, of course, Brinley feels that maybe she's bad luck to Blade and Nofit, but they don't want to say it. I mean, they don't want to hurt her feelings. I mean, it's understandable, but we'll see what happens between both sides of the spectrum. Now, as you know, we have Andre Chase and Duke Hudson will be challenging for the NXT Tag Team titles. They'll be making, however, as you all know, we saw what Rich Holland did. He helped. Well, he's not gonna be going to chase you, so he's gonna be saved. So sooner or later, it was gonna get caught. Now, we did see, of course, Lola Vice comes out, do a promo. And of course, Roxanne showed up to interrupt her. She had two security guards. But Roxanne thinks that her sad story is pathetic and no one's going to take her belt. But one of the security guards got his ass handed to him. You know, I was hoping Lola Vice just give that guy a kick in the other security guard a kick in the face. But it's a warning to let her know. Not even security guards can stop her. But I should say Roxanne Perez should be worried. Now, she claims no one's going to take this belt, but you may never know. Now, there are those that do still believe that Julia might be the one to do it, but we still don't know when we will do it, because we know in the past Japanese wrestlers have a hard time trying to get their visas in Canada. But we'll see. Now, we did see Eddie Thorpe, as you know, with a lot of people talking about, EDM, which is like DJ and stuff, and everybody was having a great time. But Alexis King saying rock and roll is the the real thing. But of course, Eddie Thorpe, I have to say, he kept this cool because he knows that Lexus King, he will definitely try to get under the skin of everybody, but it did not work. Now, I'm sure Lexus King will try again to get under his skin, but we'll see where that leads us. Now, our next match, we have Miles Bourne of No Catch Crew versus Ora Menza. Now, I have to say, they're changing a little bit of the direction of Ora Menza, giving that backstory that happened last week, but he faces Miles Bourne. Now, Miles Bourne, there's no denying that he has learned a lot from Charlie Dempsey and, of course, other people in the group. But for some odd reason, Kemp decided to, I have to say, he's the dumbest person. He was trying to give Miles Bourne the brass knuckles, but because of this, it cost Miles Bourne the match. I don't know what Kemp was thinking, and I'm sure Dempsey is not pleased. Now, I'm sure he's not going to blame the match onto Oro Mensah or Miles Bourne. I think the fall is going to be on Kemp himself. So we'll see what happened, but this was a good win for Oro Mensah. I mean, not the best or the greatest, but it's a good win for him to elevate himself a little further. Excuse me. Now, in the backstage, we saw a brawl between Gallus and, of course, Dupont and Igwe. Now, we know that recently we've been seeing those two brawling. Now, if you want to know what's been going on, a while back we were supposed to see, of course, Dupont and Igwe in the match, but the Gallus attacked them from behind. So this is payback for what they caused. So who knows what it is. But if I was a betting man, I wouldn't be surprised if those two groups end up in a tag team match in NXT Heatwave. So we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Carly Bright versus scary girl herself, who just took a long ass nap, Wendy Chu. Yeah. So, I mean, we all seen what happened to Wendy. We just don't know why she just went this way. But that's what happened. But I can tell you this match ended with Wendy Chu choking out, of course, Carly Bright, and just like that, we just don't know what her motive is now. So we'll see what happens. Now, our main event, it features Jasmine Nix along with Jaycee Jane taking on Carmen Petrovic. Now, of course, X factor of this, Jaycee Jane will try to get involved. She got involved multiple times in this match, and then, of course, Fallon Henley was also watching from the back. And then the Pele kick was the deciding factor, and just like that, it was over. However, of course, what's his name? Brooks. Petrovic was not happy with the result of this, so apparently she was gonna be put in the match in Heatwave, thinking it was Natalia who set it up. Nope, it was the annoying one who thinks that, can we all just get along, Ariana Grace. Petrovic was not happy with it. I'm sure if they lose, that's going to be all on her. Now, we did see, as you know, in recent time, we saw Brooks Jensen making his way. So, Shawn Michaels addressed the situation, what's been going on. So, he pointed out that the reason what's been happening is that Brooks Jensen has been hitting up the sauce. Now, I'm not talking about the sauce that, of course, the Iron Savages uses. I'm talking about alcohol. So basically, there's that, and there was the whole story that he was released from the company, not true. But he did stated that he was willing to have a little chat with him next week. So we will see what happens. Now, in recent times, we have seen Axiom, who's been concerned over Nathan Frazier's recent moves. However, as you know, he feels that they should not overlook Chase Hughes, but Nathan Frazier seems like he thinks that everything will be okay. But Axiom doesn't feel 100% confident that they should overlook them. We know that they have been tag team champions, but the real problem is, they overlook, well, we'll see what happens. Now, our last thing before the entire NXT event ended, it was the NXT title contract. Uh, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Shawn Spears, and of course Ethan Page. So we were seeing back and forth between everyone and all that, but it was Javon Evans and Trick Williams that took out both Page and Shawn Spears. So we will see what happens. I think many of us are trying to predict that maybe this will be a pretty good challenge for Trick, that he could retain the belt. But we will see what happens until then. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's just move on to news update. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So this is what we have with all of you. Let's begin with updates with the promotions on their upcoming events. Now, as you know, this coming weekend we have, of course, Evolution's Volume 19. Now, there was certain changes in the card. Originally, we were supposed to have Zones and Chi-Chi, the homegrown girls, taking on Best Friends. Now, I'm not talking about Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, and those guys. I'm talking about Arisa Nakajima and Tsukasa Fujimoto. Now, however, due to the situation with Fujimoto, who injured herself recently during an Ice Ribbon show, it was decided that Fujimoto will be pulled, and she was replaced with, of course, Nakajima's tag team partner in Seedling, and you all know her, the Warrior of the Sun, or the Sun God herself, Sari, or formerly known as Saray. So she'll be teaming with Arisa Nakajima. Now, it's not the first time that Sari appeared in Evolutions. She did had a one-on-one match last year with Sari and teamed up with her on a few occasions outside of Evolutions. So we'll see where that goes from here on out. Now, as you know, we are almost close to the upcoming annual tournament known as Queen of Indies. The first round matches are now begun to announce. Our first one that was announced just now is Masha Slamovich. She'll be taking on Kylie Ray. So that's going to be a real interesting one to watch. And then finally, GCW for their No Signal in the Hills event on the 17th of August in LA, we have the Wolf Zaddies also making their appearance. So that's pretty much it, what we have for our upcoming events with the promotions. Now let's talk about certain developments. Now, many of you have been hearing about the recent promotion based out of Uganda, Soft Ground Wrestling. So it appears that they are now given a TV deal. So this is huge, guys. And the TV deal is coming from NBC TV in Uganda. So it's very interesting now to see a promotion based out of Africa now getting a TV deal. So that's going to be interesting to hear. Now, many of you may remember recently, over time, since the start of this year, since the entirety of the year, we've been seeing TNA talent have been re-signing with TNA. Well, the recent re-signee is none other than our backstage interviewer, is none other than Gia Miller. So she is now re-signed with TNA. Now, let's talk about certain things. Javon Evans talked about his signing with WWE. So this is something interesting that I did not know, but I think many of you will find it fascinating. I've been telling my friends since the third grade that I'm going to WWE, be a WWE wrestler. Teachers would get mad telling me I need the backup plan or college. I didn't listen. I started going crazy on the indies. He's not wrong. I mean, look at him now. He's doing great. I'm like wondering what the teachers are now have to say about this, because, teachers there are some teachers that will try to say that it's not going to work out, but it did, because you can tell them, go suck it, that sort of thing. But that's how it is. Now, Julie, as you know, recently has been speaking about certain things right now. One of them is about Utami Aishida, about her trying to be the ace during her absence, and this is what she says. There's something I want to say to Utami. Aren't you satisfied just being able to fight Io? Even though she's still young, Utami had a fight with a lot of her shoulders until now. So I felt she's trying to be more free and true to herself in Marigold. But she doesn't have time to be spoiled. I think that's Utami Ishii's destiny, since they're uh, put so much effort into putting together this card. I want her to think this card is amazing. So yeah, I mean, people have often saying that Utami Ishii should be the ace because she is now a homegrown in Marigold, so we'll see that. And not only that, she even talked about her slap she got from Suri, so in Shinkiba recently. So this is what she said: um, "It's been a while since I've been hit by someone, and I realized that was my daily life after all. I should be the one to inspire wrestlers, but Suri is doing it for me, so I'm grateful. She's a woman I come to trust." So yeah, so basically, as you know, Julia has a tendency to say certain things, but when it comes to someone who can hit her back like that, try to be inspirational, that's something else. So that's a different story. Now I know some of you may have heard about what's been going on with Dijak about recently appearing in the promotions announcements that he's going to making. Well, he talked about the main event, how he's calling that a death sentence, and this is what he said about that. "One of the biggest daggers to me was got the text from the writer who was assigned to me. He and I had a good conversation for the first or second week of Raw, where I pitched all this stuff, and I was hearing through the grapevine the creative plans that the creative wants you to use. Hunter said the plant wants you to be on TV every week. Good, good. I can recover. So as long as I'm wrestling in the ring, I know I can make it work." It was a Saturday. I got a text from my writer, and hey, we have you in on the main event. The second I saw that, I was like, F. I know what that means. That's not an opportunity. That's a death sentence. So basically, he felt that he wasn't gonna get utilized enough, and I think that's what people like to talk about, how WWE likes to not utilize the wrestlers, and I don't blame him. I mean, what does the main event do for someone? I mean, you're just not being seen. That's the problem. So that's how it is. But we'll see what happens with him. Right as we speak, now that he's no longer with the company, and all this. There were rumors that there's been, of course, word that he was in the backstage of AEW. We'll just wait and see what happens from here on out. So I think that's pretty much it for all of our updates and reviews. So I think it's time to call it a day. Well, hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're continuing with more of New Japan Soul. This one will feature the semifinals of the G1 qualifiers. Now remember, there's 2 open spots available in the A block and the B block. So who will be the ones to win those open spots? Well, we just gotta wait and see. And then of course we have AEW Dynamite with Beach Break. This is gonna be interesting. Will Ospreay will defend the international title against, of course, Daniel Garcia, and we got, of course, more of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. So I'm excited. You guys are gonna be excited. So as of right now, that's the plan. So we'll see what happens from here on out. But until then, must say to all of you, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.